everyone. In this video I'll be showing you on how to properly lube your switches. Why do you need to lube your switches, you ask? Materials that rub against each other causes friction. Using lubrication between the two faces of material reduces the friction, resulting it to have less friction. Although plastics used for switches like ABS or POM are known to be self-lubricating materials, they produce a lot of friction when rubbed against each other. By lubing your switches, you will be able to reduce the scratchiness of your new switches. I have with me two linear H1 switches. Let's start by opening the switch. I use a MX key opener from KeyBoss, but you can always use a flathead screwdriver to pry open your switch. Here's how you open it with a key opener. You line the two sides with the two prongs of the top housing, like this. And then firmly press the switch onto the switch opener, and then take the top off and you have an open switch. If you don't have a key opener, you can always use a flathead screwdriver. You can pry open the two sides of the switch, gently pull it back downwards, and once you have one side open, you can put your fingernails in between the slot and then gently pull up the two tabs on the other side, and you have another switch opened like this. The main friction points of a switch are between the stem and the bottom housing. There are mainly 5 areas that friction occurs. 1 is between the legs of the stem and the metal contact leaf of the housing. 2 and 3 are the sliders of the stem and the slider columns of the housing. The 4th area is between the back side of the stem and the side opposite to the contact leaf. The 5th point of contact is the spring and the bottom housing. An additional point that can improve your switch experience is to lube the end of the springs. Lubing the springs should help to reduce the spring sound when the spring recovers back to its original position. Here's how you properly lube your switches. I'm using here a lube called Krytox 205 Grade 0 from Switch Mods. Let's start with the housing. You can start off by scooping up a generous amount of lube and scrape off the excess lumps so that your brush has lube on it, but not too much. You then evenly coat the slider columns 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then using the other side of the brush, 1, 2, 3. In addition, lubing around the outer center column reduces the friction between the spring and the housing. Once the housing is done, it's time to put the spring in. With the remaining lube on your brush, lightly lube one end of your spring. place the spring over the center column of the bottom housing. Now lube the other end of the spring. Now for the stem. Reload your brush with lube like we did for the housing. Here I use a 4-leg jewel prong to hold my stem. Start off by lubing the sliders on each side of the stem. Make sure cover the sides of the protruded sliders. Now, if you're lubing tactiles, you want to listen very carefully. You do not lube the legs of the stem, but for linears, lube the 2 legs. With the remaining lube on your brush, lube the entire back side of the stem. Make sure you evenly coat the back side as well as the bottom side of the stem. This is how it looks under harsh lighting. Once you're done lubing, place the stem so that the legs are facing the contact leaf. And finally, place the top housing so that the thicker part of the housing is on the side of the contact leaf. Make sure you place it in the correct orientation or else the switch will break. And snap it in place. So now you have one fully lubed switch. Depending on how experienced you are, each switch will take you 2 to 3 minutes to lube. I hope this helped you to understand the reason why you want to lube and how to lube your switches properly. Please drop a like if this video helped you build your keyboard and subscribe to my channel for more keyboard build related tutorials. Thanks for watching.